Alright, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and elders and CT bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching this word of truth and sincerity around the four corners. Peace and salutations to the Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that live amongst the heathen that look like some of those heathen. Remember, you got to remember, this is not a black-only thing. This is an Israelite thing. So Israelites are going to come back into the fold looking like the nations that they were scattered to, pertaining to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 64th verse. And so shalom to the scattered sheep, the speckled bird. And peace and salutations to the Achim and a few Aquath who listen and learn in silence. You know, those are the true believers, the true worshipers. Shalom to the true believers, the true worshipers of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Those are the hopeful elect. You know, this is my second time trying to do this video because I had an article that I was reading and the screen recorder cut it off. So I'm going to just read the headline and get a couple of precepts, and Lord's willing, this will be edifying. So here we go. It says, this is from ABC News. It says, severe storm downs trees and power lines in Montgomery County, leaving thousands without power. And from what I understand, Montgomery County is in Pennsylvania. And a severe storm, when you read the article, if you look it up on Google, it ripped through the Montgomery County and near Chester County and near Wilmington, Delaware. You know, and if you have spiritual eyes and ears, then you know that that's just judgment from the Heavenly Father. You know, the Lord told you that things like that would happen. Said that there were pebble-sized hail balls, pebble-sized hail being cast from the sky. The winds were crazy, you know, things of that nature. We get a couple of precepts. First precept I want to get is the elder bro Amon Gabar put this up in his post. This is daily motivation. This is Ecclesiastes 8:5, and it reads, whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing. A wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment, you see? So, if you keep the commandments of the Heavenly Father, you're not going to feel no evil thing. And to be honest, whenever you hear of severe storms and you see the devastation that happens, it usually happens to people that are not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Mainly 2/3 of our people, our own people, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, 2/3 Israelites, and the heathen nations, in particular, Esau. You know, these storms be ripping through Esau's neighborhood because you know Esau is adverse to the law, statutes, and commandments, you know. And that's very simple and plain. I'm going to try to make this a quick lesson, you know, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or less. I'll just try to flow for a bit, try to feed the sheep real quick. You know, I got a couple hours before I got to hit the plantation, so I'm going to try to get prepared and ready, take a quick nap, and then, you know, do on about it that way. Yeah. Let me get another precept. This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6, and it reads, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. You see, so all of these are different versions of storms, different versions of calamity, judgment, is basically part of how the Lord shows you that the Lord is visiting the world in which He made. You know. I believe not too long ago in somewhere in America, I believe like the Midwest, there was tornadoes. There's tornadoes in the Midwest and hurricanes in the South. You know, still, you don't forget those wildfires that be happening a lot on the West Coast. You know, you can't forget about those. Last year, there was I believe parts of North Carolina got set on fire. You know, so a lot has been happening, and all you gotta do is pay attention and realize that the Heavenly Father is not playing with these. He's not playing with these heathen. Salakia. Yeah, this is Psalms 83 and 15. It says, "So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm." Do you see? And this is basically what this is Psalms the 83rd chapter. Earlier in the chapter, when you read it, it talks about the enemies of the Heavenly Father, you know, which are the heathen nations, and the top heathen nations, starting with Esau, the so-called white man, the tabernacles of Eden. And basically, I believe that was King David, or it could have been Asaph that wrote Psalms 83rd chapter. And basically, they're how do you put it? They're basically, it tells you that these nations that are the Lord's enemy tried to cut made an agreement, a pact to cut off Israel from being a nation. That's why you're known as Proverbs and bywords today. Not to mention that that's the part of the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that you would be known by other names than Israel, you know, known as Negroes and Hispanics, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, you know, Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Ecuadorians, Peruvians, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, that goes without saying. But there, let me see. I get a couple more scriptures, and I'll wrap up. Matter of fact, Salakia. Let me go in the Apocrypha. But yeah, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 36. And I'll start at the top. It says, "Have mercy upon us, O Lord, power of all, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee." You see? It says, "Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power." It says, "As thou was sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. You see? This is basically a petition, to wreak havoc on these strange nations, these heathen nations, Verse 5, and let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no power but only thou, O Yahweh. You see? Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, which is Yahushai, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. You see? So, yeah, basically that's what the Lord is doing. He's letting the whole world know, and the unbelieving know what us believers know, that there is no other power but the Heavenly Father. Matter of fact, let me get this in Amos. Yeah, and this is Amos 3:6, and it reads, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it?" You see? So it's the Heavenly Father who caused that storm to take place and caused people not to have power in Montgomery County. That's why it would behoove you to get right with the Heavenly Father, man. You better get right before judgment befalls you. Just read in Ecclesiastes, those that fear the commandments shall feel no evil thing. So if you following the law, statutes, and commandments, fearing the Heavenly Father, doing your daily duties, then you have nothing to worry about. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. But if you're not, which is majority of the people, you got nothing but calamities, death, and destruction and anguish coming towards you, So, better prepare. Lord's will, you was edified. Till next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.